Hello, everybody. I'm meteorologist Tom Schmidt,
And I'm meteorologist Tom Turton.
and this is Talking with Tom.
Woohoo!
Way to go. There we go.
Yes.
Well, Tom, how are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm
Yeah.
doing really well. We're in this, little pocket of a few days of rain at the moment. And we've had, I don't know, would you call them drought-like conditions anyway as we led up to it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, big time, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They were, we have parts of extreme drought down in the Boot Heel.
Yeah.
So 4 out of 5, it's pretty bad. And they got some good rain yesterday, though.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good. And we've gotten some nice rain. And, it's one of those kind of things where we go from very summery conditions and now you start going, am I going to need a jacket while I go out this morning? Because it's like fall has said, hey, wait, it's my turn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's cool. It's foggy. It has that fall crisp kind of feel outside.
Yeah, it's the kind of fog that's, it's mist almost. You have to turn on the windshield wipers and things like that.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Tom, I think today what we're going to be talking about is, speaking of fall and the weather we're seeing, all the rain we had yesterday, is that fall is oftentimes called kind of the second severe weather season.
Yes.
A smaller severe weather season, but there is an uptick.
Yes, it is
For the
there
fall.
nonetheless. And people don't always think about that because you just start thinking about the cooler temperatures and crisper and here go the leaves and you forget severe weather can come back at you, during
Yeah.
this time of year.
Yeah, it does. And so we've already seen a couple examples of that. This was some pictures I took in Northeast Oklahoma a couple days ago. A shelf cloud.
Yes.
I mean, pretty cool. I was on I-44, had to pull over and take this picture.
I see that. You shouldn't do that, Tom. You shouldn't be.
Yes.
It's a highway. Keep going.
But
But I get it.
how could I resist? I'm looking in my mirror the whole time like, oh my gosh, I got
Yes.
to pull over, got to stop.
Same way. Yes, I get it. 100%. But there's a good indicator,
Yeah.
It's like that can produce severe weather and it's fall. There you go.
It is fall. And so, and part of the reason for that being the case of, it's kind of a second wind for severe weather
Uh-huh.
in the fall is that it's a transition season. Just like how spring is, the jet stream is shifting, although in this case, going to fall, it's shifting from the north to the south.
Right?
It's coming out of Canada and then tracking farther south into the U.S. And that just brings in these stronger storm systems and some stronger wind energy as opposed to what we have in the summertime. And so just that kind of environment, similar to spring, although fall is usually not as robust
Yeah.
as the spring season is.
Right. It's very it's not surprising when you have the chilly days, you have these 50-degree days, and you've got your coat on, and all of a sudden you have a few 70-degree days, and colder air is going to punch in behind it, and that's when you set things up for some severe weather.
Yeah, it is. And we saw that yesterday on
Yeah.
Tuesday. Had actually a tornado watch was issued for parts of northwest Arkansas yesterday as conditions were looking somewhat favorable.
Yep.
And nothing developed from that. We did have some severe weather, some wind and some hail, but nothing tornadic. But it just brings it all back up to the forefront again. And that was kind of our first round of the fall season to kind of shake the dust off after a pretty quiet summer.
Right.
But now we just got to get back in the mindset, right? We could be going back into a miniature severe weather season again.
It's just, this is the time of year. Things kick back in, and sometimes they take people by surprise. You don't expect it because you expect severe weather in the springtime moving into summer.
Right.
But then you go, okay, we're done with that. Don't keep looking over your shoulder because it could be gaining on you.
Yeah, not quite yet. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Tom, something else we wanted to talk about is given we had that tornado watch from yesterday,
Right.
and we could see a few more in the fall. Typically, you don't see too many in the fall, but it does happen.
Right.
Let's talk about a little bit about how tornadoes form, what's needed for it, and how is fall kind of more favorable for those conditions to set up versus, say, summertime.
Sure.
And so, I mean, you kind of hit it on the head there initially, talking about how those air masses, the warm days followed by the cool days, well, it's that mixing of that warm and cold air that can really, again, create those conditions.
Yeah, because you can have quite a difference, between Well, when I think of summertime, you think of a cold front moving through. That's kind of cool air. It's not cold air. Whereas as you get into springtime, there can be a huge difference between those air masses,
Yeah.
and that is a strong wedge of cold air that can undercut that. Well, as soon as it undercuts, now you have lift. You have one ingredient right there.
That's right.
And a lot of times that warm air in autumn, it can be moist. It can be very thick with moisture. So you're getting a couple of elements just right there.
Yeah, you are, and so that's the temperature divide. You can get the moisture, which is also kind of needed to be a little higher to get the tornado environment going.
Right.
The number I've heard in terms of dew points for there to be any kind of risk for severe weather. And dew points just a kind of a measurement of the moisture in the atmosphere.
Right.
If you have a risk of severe weather, there could be a tornado risk, but it has to be like somewhere 58, 59 degrees or more for
Yeah.
the dew point temperature, which does happen in the fall. I mean,
Yes.
you get a strong south wind one day, and all of a sudden it feels like June into September and even October.
Yeah, absolutely it does. And we've talked about it before. The more moisture in the air, the lighter the air is. I mean, water vapor is lighter than oxygen.
Yes.
So it's helping provide a lot more lift at that time, the higher the dew point.
It is. Yeah, it adds into the buoyancy factor.
Right.
Right. More moisture, getting more lift. And if it's a warm day, especially, get that added ingredient too, lifting from reflected heat from the surface and all that.
Okay, so you have warm, moist air, and you have a wedge of cold air undercutting it. So there are a few of the three of the things that are needed. All right, what else?
Well, the big thing is the shear. You need some turning in the atmosphere.
Yeah, kind of explain what shear is, though.
Okay, yeah. So shear is the definition of shear is the change in wind direction and speed with height. And so from the ground to maybe we'll say 10,000 feet up, just for the sake of tornado forecasting.
All right.
You want your wind to be different directions. So at the surface, you may have a south wind, but 10,000 feet up, you may have a southwest wind or a westerly wind. And so that gives you a turning element. And you also need it to be changing in the speed, all right? So there's two types of ingredients going into shear, speed and direction. And both of those need to be changing with height.
Yeah, and it can't be too much or too little either.
Right.
There's kind of a parameter of that, the wind speeds, because sometimes shear, if it's major, just cuts off everything.
It can.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're also looking, there's all the things in backing and veering winds. So it kind of depends on the direction of the
Right.
shear. Is the wind turning clockwise or is it turning counterclockwise?
Uh-huh. And you want it counterclockwise
Counter for
for
tornadoes.
formation of tornadoes.
That's right.
Okay.
So all these different things kind of come into play when looking at that tornadic forecast. And Tom, this is something that I was taught this is actually a meteorologist that came to my school once as a kid. And the way they described shear, I thought was interesting. It was really a good visual example.
Yeah.
And so you take your hands, okay? You've got one up here, and these cameras are motion sensitive, so this may not work. We'll see. Take one up here of your head, and we'll say the wind is going outward like this.
Okay.
At the surface, meanwhile, you've got other wind going this way.
Right.
And so then you put them together like this, and that kind of gives you a good visualization
Right.
of the shear we're seeing in the atmosphere.
So
Wind
that
at the aloft going one way, wind at the surface going the other way, and that
And-
creates that rotation.
and that warm, moist air is lifting the whole time.
Right.
So it does that turning as that wind because it's like you're not going to have necessarily two volumes of air that are doing this like where there's this big gate here,
Right.
but
No.
you will have the gradual turning. So now the wind is starting. It turns with height. It doesn't just turn there.
Yeah.
It turns with height.
It's a whole column of air.
Right.
Rising
Right,
up
right,
and,
right.
and turning and the whole thing. That's another ingredient, right? Shear's a big ingredient. You really need shear to get anything to start
Yeah,
spinning.
if you
So,
don't have shear, you may have thunderstorms, uplift,
Sure.
and things like that, but unless you have the rotational value okay, then you're lost as far as tornado formation.
Yeah, and even severe weather for that matter. I mean,
Yeah.
because the updrafts usually require them to be rotating
Yeah.
to really get going for the nasty stuff. Okay, and then with that, there's also, I mean, you're looking for something called CAPE, right? Which is
Okay.
the level of instability in the atmosphere. And so the higher the CAPE value, which is convective available potential energy, the higher that value is, the more energy being released into the atmosphere, meaning the more volatile it's going to be, the stronger your updraft. So the higher the CAPE value, the chances are you're going to have some stronger storms. And if there's strong shear with strong CAPE, you might be dealing with larger tornadoes.
This is the thing that always it comes into question, because many times, you know, you look and you've got, oh, the dew point's all right. Oh, I'm seeing shear,
yes.
with height. CAPE values are saying that that cap is sitting there, which, inhibits growth.
Yes.
That cap is sitting on top of that and is not letting anything above it. It can't get as much height, rotation. The CAPE is everything is in place. No tornado.
It sometimes just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that drives people buggy after a while.
Oh, yeah.
Because, while you're on air, I've been on air. Oh, look, my head got rolled.
I know.
All of a sudden. I forget these are motion sensitive.
It's tricky. Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's like all of these things are in place. The Mets are out there saying this is a good possibility. On down the line, a watch goes out, everything, and you end up with a nice kind of partly cloudy day and temperatures in the 70s or 80s.
Yeah, it does happen. And so it just kind of depends on, is the air able to start rising beyond that cap?
Right.
Which sometimes doesn't always happen. There has to be a lot of lifting at the kind of the surface level to be able to really break through and
Yeah.
get things going,
Yeah.
which doesn't always happen.
No, you have everything in place except you have a good cap in place.
Yeah.
You don't have enough energy to, pop that cap. Once that cap would pop, though, now you're in a different story, of course.
Yeah, now you've got explosive energy.
Yeah.
That's when you can create some big storms. Okay, example of a cap, the way it was described to me also by another school-time meteorologist,
Yeah.
was you take like a can of soda and shake it up, and that represents all the available energy in the atmosphere. But of course, it's not breaking out of the can until it finds that way out when you pop the cap. And then
That's
it
it.
explodes out. And so that's a good definition of a cap, I thought.
That's perfect. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's keeping all that energy bottled up. But if you get enough energy that it goes, nah, and it pops that, then there it is. It is going to happen.
It goes fast.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, it's a good little discussion here. Hopefully, you folks learned something about this, about all that goes into tornado forecasting. And it's not as simple as just looking at a computer model and saying, oh, the computer says tornadoes, so we're going to see tornadoes. It's not that simple. There's different levels in the atmosphere.
Right.
All have to meet certain criteria to be able to make it more favorable. And sometimes it can be favorable, and it just doesn't happen.
Okay, we kind of talked about that, but I have one question for you.
Yes.
Why do we have so many more tornado warnings than we've had before?
Okay, good question. So is it because tornadoes are on the rise, or is it because of better reporting and better advanced warnings?
I'm going to go with B.
Yeah, good
Yes.
choice. I
We're
would
getting
agree.
better at spotting things now.
Oh, and especially with everybody's got a cell phone camera.
Yes.
So tornadoes that happen out in the middle of nowhere are now being seen by people. And plus radar data. I mean, you think Doppler radar really
yes.
didn't come out in the big network until 1988. And then after if you look at the data, if you look at 1988 and afterwards, you'll see the tornadoes spike up at that point.
Right, because now we're seeing rotation aloft.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be on the ground. The best warning is the one that comes to you before that tornado hits the ground.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. It's just the technology's improved, reporting has improved. There's more people out there to see them.
Yeah.
It's just all these factors come together, and it is interesting. Go back and look at the numbers because the Storm Prediction Center keeps track of this stuff.
They do.
If you go back to the 50s, U.S. averaged about like 25% of what we see today. Mm-hmm. That's just because of reporting and technology.
We're seeing it better.
Yeah.
And that's technology.
Yeah.
That's what that's about.
Big time. All right.
I have something here. Are you ready for these?
We'll see.
Last time that we got together, it was like you brought out some questions on meteorology that I just went, I don't know. So since we're talking about tornadoes and severe weather,
Okay.
I thought I would give you, I have the right and wrong button here, so you get to answer these questions, all right?
Okay.
And we'll see if they're a little more in the wheelhouse. Are you
we'll
ready
give it a
for
try.
this? Okay, here we go.
I'm ready.
First one. What is the highest wind speed ever recorded in a tornado?
Recorded in a tornado.
Yeah, and I'll give you a right if you're within 10 miles per hour.
Okay, so I'm going to say, I think it's 320 miles per hour, or it could be 300 miles an hour, plus or minus 20 miles an hour. May 3rd, 1999, Moore, Oklahoma. Wrong.
Actually, it's 302.
Oh,
so
my
you
gosh.
missed it by 18, but that was pretty good. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. 302 miles per hour. You couldn't fall down in that if it was hitting you. As a matter of fact, it would take you off your feet.
It sure would.
All right.
Wow.
What is the greatest distance a single tornado has ever traveled?
Longest distance.
Longest distance.
Okay, and so the only reason I think I know this one, it's the Tri-State Tornado of 1925.
Okay.
And that was, was it 200 miles? 250 miles. Take a guess.
It's really hard for me to hit wrong, but it's 219 miles.
219.
Traveled from Ellington, Missouri to Princeton, Indiana.
Yeah.
219 miles. That's a beast.
That's a long time.
That is. All right. Between 1950 and present day, which month has the most recorded tornado touchdowns in the United States?
Month of the most tornado touchdowns
In the
is
U.S.
May.
That's it.
All
He
right.
did it. All right. All right. Oh, here's a good one. Tornadoes pick things up and carry them to other locations, of course. What is the longest recorded distance an item has traveled, and what was that item?
I'm going to say 50 miles. A wallet. Oh, no.
223 miles. It was a
Whoa!
it was a personal check.
Wow.
Yeah.
What storm was that?
I don't know, but I know
Okay.
that people were getting personal checks here in Springfield and farther from the Joplin tornado.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an eerie thing.
But that's what, 60 some miles? Not
Yeah,
223.
I think it is somewhere in there, 60. Yeah.
Okay, lightning deaths happen every year. What sport has the highest number of fatalities?
For lightning.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to narrow it down to two, but I'll pick one in the end.
Okay.
I'm going to say some kind of boating or fishing or golfing. And I'm going to go with golfing. Oh, no.
Soccer,
Soccer.
because you have a large number of people involved in all of the games. And sometimes in the area that lightning is striking, they're the tallest things there, number one. And number two, in stadiums, you have a lot of metal railings.
Yes.
And that can conduct lightning as well.
Okay. Now, when does soccer run? Is that a summer,
Always,
spring event?
always, I think.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on where you live.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
All right.
Here's some one I found interesting. Are boys or girls more likely to be struck by lightning?
Boys.
Okay. Give me an average of distance.
Average distance.
No, not of distance. Give me what percentage of boys more than girls do you think get struck?
I'm going to say it's a pretty big difference. I'm going to say it's a difference of 25%.
About 4 times more likely.
Is that right?
Yeah.
4 times. Wow. Okay.
And those are my questions for you today. You did very well.
Well, thanks. Those are good questions.
Yeah, I thought
like
so
'em.
too. I thought so too.
Well done.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of weather trivia. I mean, if you just put
Oh, my gosh.
weather trivia in, put in a Google search for that, you'll run all day with different things as far as weather trivia is concerned.
Yeah, no kidding. As you learned last week with my questions.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yeah, what is the coldest temperature ever recorded, and where was it recorded? Things like that I will, like some of these, will never need, but they're interesting. I mean, Mother Nature is strange and wonderful, and it's fun to, pick up those little tidbits.
It is, yeah. And, as much as we may think we know about the weather, we know a lot. We've figured out a lot, and we've studied a lot. There's still things that remain kind of unknown or questionable in terms of, like, why didn't this happen? We thought it was going to happen, and it didn't.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, we've spoken about that before. That trigger, what is the trigger? What is the trigger mechanism? You have all of the things in place. All of the actors are there, but something doesn't trigger, the curtain never goes up, on tornadoes. And you scratch your head and you go, I could have sworn, but it doesn't happen.
That's right. Well, remains a mystery. Well, Tom, we've filled about 20 minutes today of this Talking with Tom.
All right.
And I think that'll wrap us up for today. And next week, we'll do more of this. Try to dive into more, give an explanation of something coming up. So we'll try to do more sciencey stuff here on these. In the meantime, I'm Tom Schmidt, joined by Tom Turton. This is Talking with Tom. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us.